Hey, look, what's up, guys? Thanks for joining.
Hey
Happy
Matt,
Friday.
I'm happy Friday. Happy to be here with you today, brother. This is exciting. I love doing challenges.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, this is something that I think just being able to have a very approachable, like, hey, here's exactly what to do when, has helped people so much. We've gotten awesome feedback. I share some of that feedback on here too. So I'm really excited to be doing this with you, man. And I always enjoy coming on with you. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is going to be fun, guys. This is going to be great. 7-day find your first deal challenge. That's why we're here, right? There's most people I would think that are going to be here and are going to be attending this challenge are going to be looking to find their first deal. Obviously, that's the name of our challenge, or find their next deal, of course. But a lot of people are new and they're looking for their first deal. And driving for dollars is one of the best ways, if not the best way, to go about finding your first deal if you are, new to real estate investing. So this is perfect timing, Matt. Super
love
excited.
it. Love it, man. Everybody in the chat too, say hello, say where you're watching from. Love to see if I've had people like find future business partners in these before and team up that way. So jump in the chat. I'm based in, let's see here, St. Louis, Missouri, which Dave is very familiar with. There we go.
Yes, sir.
um,
Mr. Nick Johnson's here as well. He's also from the STL. So that's
oh, no
great.
way. There we go. Anybody in St. Louis, love
Yeah.
to connect. Love to connect with you guys directly for sure. So yeah, that's awesome. I know, especially if you're here too on a Friday afternoon, getting ready for the 4th. Like, you guys are committed. You guys are ready to get out there, and you're investing in yourself doing this kind of thing. Today we're going to be really going over, like David said, that playbook of how to go out there, how to take action, how to really lay out step by step for you exactly what to do. What we've seen work literally 10,000 times over. We've seen people use this playbook to go land deals. So we're helping you not have to reinvent the wheel, right? We're trying to share out, like, hey, here's what's happened many, many times over. Like, let's make you 10,001, right?
Yep.
So that's the goal for today too. Starting to lay out that playbook, starting to make it bite-sized for you. And then, seeing you guys on here again on a Friday afternoon, ready to commit, like, that is awesome. I see a lot of people use this time, since it's kind of halfway through the year. They're using this time to kind of reset their goals, reset their thoughts, and recommit. And maybe you have a little bit of time off over the next couple of days. Like, hey, we're going to be able to give you actionable steps, homework to take to go land a deal and go get in an awesome grand prize drawing as well. So we've got a lot of fun stuff today, man. I'm excited to do this.
I love it, man. I love it. We got Andrea driving for dollars in Florida, but it looks like she's from Canada. Robert's from Key Largo. Rick is from El Dorado Hills, California. Nathan from Atlanta. We got Sean from Chicago. We got people from all over the map on here today, Matt. So this is great. Well, let's jump on in, man. Let's rock and roll.
All right. Well, like you said, David, I mean, hey, 7-day find your first deal challenge is the goal here today. So hopefully you're coming in ready to take action. And one thing I do want to begin with is just talking about the timing of this. Like, right now is such a opportunity for people, such a strong time for people to come in, become well versed in this world, really understand how can we provide value to other people by being a wholesaler, being a real estate investor. By in times of uncertainty, you are offering certainty. You're offering speed, convenience, cash. You're offering a variety of solutions to someone's problem, where today more than ever you're seeing more and more financial problems, more and more financial distress that you can go out there and solve in the market, and you can go provide value to them and bring a win-win scenario to the table for people. And David, can you kind of talk about that a little bit, of just what you guys are seeing in the market and why now is a good time to be thinking about this stuff?
Yeah, I mean, there's never a bad time to be thinking about this stuff. Let's be honest, right? At the end of the day, though, Matt, you nailed it on the head. Real estate investing is all about finding sellers that are willing to sell to you at a discount. Does it matter how big of a discount? Not necessarily. The bigger the discount, the better. But how do we go about getting the discount? And again, Matt, you hit this already, but let's just reiterate. We get the discount by just offering convenience. It's that simple, right? If we can come in and we can make their life easy, and we can offer convenience in exchange for these discounted prices, we will win deals. So what does that convenience look like? Well, guys, there's 1,000 things we could do to offer convenience to people. And that's going to take all day to go through every one of these. But I can tell you this, 80 to 90% of the time, the convenience falls into 3 categories: cash, as is, and quick. All right. Cash, here's the great thing. It doesn't have to be our cash. It can be anybody's cash. It could be line of credit, it could be bank loan. You know, it's just, we're going to be able to buy the property and we're not going to need a bunch of financing contingencies. That's what cash really means. As is, it's pretty straightforward. We're going to buy it the way it sits right now. We're not going to make them fix the roof or replace the windows or paint it or cut the grass or do some landscaping or do anything. We want to buy it as it is right now. And that even includes sometimes, you know, hoarder houses or houses filled with junk or trash or possessions. And what we typically do is we just say, hey, take what you want and leave everything else behind, and it's going to become our problem, right? So the as is, very, very straightforward. And then the speed, right? The quickness is a relative term. You know, I'm typically closing deals in 3 to 4 weeks time on average. Can I do them in 7 or 10 or 14 days? Well, yeah, absolutely. But typically speaking, it's 3 to 4 weeks. Guys, that is fast in comparison to on market, right? On market, your buyer is going to need a minimum of 30 to 45 days. And that's assuming it sells day one. If your property is listed on the market, you're going to have to deal with showings. You're going to have to deal with inspections. It may sit in the market for a month or 2 or 3 or 5, and you might have to do price drops to be able to get it under contract. But once you have it under contract, you're looking at 30 to 45 days minimum, sometimes 60 to 90 days. So when we come in, and again, that's beyond the listing period. So when we come in and we say, hey, we can close this deal in 3 to 4 weeks for you, that is extremely fast compared to the alternative. So cash, as is, and quick are going to typically make up 80 to 90% of the conveniences that we're going to offer people in exchange for them to do business with us, and ideally for us to be able to get these properties under contract at discounted amounts. The bigger the discount, the better. So yeah, it's really, really simple. It's pretty straightforward.
There we go. Awesome. Yeah. And with that kind of mindset in mind too, the underlying thing behind all of this is that, hey, getting out and taking action, stepping up and not just educating yourself passively, but acting on this information and going out there and taking the right steps over and over again. Like, that's awesome that you took the right step to be here, to be involved in this, to be educating yourself, but getting out there and what you do with that information is what's going to separate you from the people who get a lot of value out of this, who make this as a transformational 7 days, versus the people who, get some good information, but don't actually go land that first deal. And so that's what over here, I know, again, Matt Camp with Deal Machine, I really focus on partnerships. I really focus on educating our community and educating people where, yes, we're a technology tool to make you more efficient, more effective, help you execute on this stuff. We're going to give you a bunch of free bonuses throughout this too, to be able to help you get out there and do this for, we have a 7-day free trial. We're going to offer a bunch of free stuff for you to be able to leverage the tool during this too. But even if you're not using Deal Machine, you're still going to be walking away with that playbook of what we've seen, again, from interviewing hundreds of people who have landed deals using it, and being able to go in and look at our data and see, again, we've had over 10,000 people land deals using Deal Machine. So us taking this playbook, us looking at this, regardless of if you're using the tool or not, that's what we want to give you today in these next 7 days, is really team up with Dave here. Like, we love the work that you do, man. We love being able to come in and support that, and be able to be a tool to enable you guys to get out there, to take action as easy and straightforward as possible. I think this, and the goal of this next 7 days as well, is to really help you get out there and solve the number one issue that would-be investors have when they're getting started, is that they don't know where or how to find that great deal. And what's really cool is we've done this and we've really honed in these 7 days over and over again, where we have people coming in, and over the next 7 days, we will give you this playbook where we have people coming in like Jared right here, who said, hey, if it wasn't for this challenge, I don't think I would have ever gotten on the horse and taken action. And you have people like Santiago right here saying that this challenge has helped him understand that as long as you take these small, consistent actions daily, which is exactly what we're going to lay out for you guys and challenge you to go do over these next 7 days, hey, that is going to unlock an entire world of possibility for you. And finally, Mark here, he said that this challenge already transformed his life in a positive way, and he wants to think it's for a memory that will last a lifetime. I mean, that's something where we can go in and that, these 7 days, he took this on. He was doing stuff, he actually brought his family into the equation and started using this all together as a team, and has started to build his own real estate business, launching off of these 7 days. So that's what our goal is be able to lay this out here for you guys. And Dave, we're excited to do it together, man.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, man. And I love it, man. You really hit on a really important topic here, that the hardest thing for most new investors and newbies, right, is to learn how to find the deals, right? Where are these motivated sellers at? And there's a lot of different approaches that we can take. But from my experience, the simplest and the easiest approach is to get in your vehicle and to drive around and look for properties that are distressed. And the reason is it's so incredibly simple. Anybody can do this. But beyond that, if you drive by a house and it looks super, super distressed, there's a reason that it's distressed. And most of that reason is because the person that owns it is distressed, or they're unaware that property is in that condition, right? So some of the best deals I've ever done, some of the biggest deals I've ever done, have come from driving for dollars. I love driving for dollars. I encourage every single one of you here, as well as those who are going to watch this replay, to take notes on this and to really focus your attention for the next 30 to 40 minutes, because this is the easiest, simplest, quickest way to get a deal done, in my opinion. Personally, Yep.
I mean, when we look at the data as well of like how are people landing that first deal, it's overwhelmingly that driving for dollars approach. And it's exactly what David Lecko right here, our CEO and founder, you may have seen him on Dave's YouTube channel or things like that before. I know we've come on and talked about this, but being able to look for those vacant distressed properties around us, that's what David, how he got into it too. Like he was based in St. Louis, moved to Indianapolis, and was looking around and saying, hey, this is my opportunity to kind of really go in and change my own financial future. He had read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He had, read 4 Hour Work Week. He knew that he wanted to do something that's his own business, his own, be an entrepreneur, but, and also knew the power of real estate. He had educated himself on this stuff, but just didn't know where to start. He felt like that he needed to know everything. This might sound familiar to a lot of people here. He felt like he needed to know everything before he actually took the right actions, which means starting to talk to sellers, starting to talk to people that could be a potential deal. And for him, he got out there, he moved to Indianapolis, he continued to invest in his education, said, hey, I'm going to take this real estate thing serious for a year. And 1 year later, he had, the dream car, the dream trips. He was living on the beach. Not quite. He went into it with that being his goal. And he's like, oh yeah, this is going to be easy. I'm going to be able to change, move to the beach in no time. For him, he learned a lot of lessons. He spent an entire year figuring out like, hey, I'm going to go on market is what he tried first. Tried to go on market and looked at things like this, looked at maps like this, tried to run the numbers to find any kind of BRRRR deal or even really a wholesale deal, any kind of exit strategy, and realized, man, this is not easy. I'm not finding properties that fit the bill that actually will trade speed and convenience for a great deal, right? He didn't understand that yet. So he had a big, really tough time with that for a while and said, okay, well, let me try something else. Let me pull a bulk list right here. Let me try to find a way to just reach out to a bunch of people, write a bunch of letters saying, hey, if I'm an investor, I can sell you quick and easy. What do I do here? Or are you interested in selling? And he sent this out to a bunch of people and realized, man, the people that I'm talking to are already getting hit up by so many other, investors and people trying the same exact method. I need to find houses that aren't being already bombarded with calls and texts and email and all that. I mean, Nick, you see them all the time as well. There you go. Like I'm with you guys. Like I'm getting my phone blown up and I'm not a qualified lead. I'm not looking to sell. They're not finding motivated sellers that way. So for him, he continued to dig deeper and said, okay, I know I need to go off market. On market's not working. I need to get more specific and find leads that no one else is working. Let me try this driving for dollars thing like David's talking about. Let me get out there and drive around and look for those fixer-upper properties myself and build a list that no one else has, because there's that barrier to entry there. It takes some work to get out there and to drive around and to look for these houses, whereas anybody can sit down and just pull a list and that's high equity in their area in a second and try to reach out to those people. This is a way that's you're going to find those hidden gems that don't appear on a list like that and aren't easy to find, aren't easy to spot, and you're going to be having to look by driving around and find houses that have, the tarp on the roof or the gutters falling off or the siding, and boarded up windows and, signs that that's vacant or distressed. And for him taking that method, he learned another really valuable lesson going through that is he's taking actions. He's starting to take the right actions by finding people and reaching out to them, but he wasn't doing it enough. He would find these houses like 1433 right here that was run down in Indianapolis. He'd drive by 6 months later and it was all fixed up. And he's like, man, I had it on my list. This is a great lead, but I'm not the one getting these deals. Like, what do I need to do to be the one that actually, made this happen? And for him, he realized, man, I'm not reaching out enough to these people at a high enough volume to be the one they think of when the timing is right, when they are motivated sellers, when they are willing to trade speed and convenience and cash for a good deal. And so, for him, he went out there, and the two main lessons that he learned from this is that he was going direct to seller. That's where the deals are going to come. That's where people are open to trading, again, a good deal for this. But I need to find enough sellers and reach out to them enough times that I can be the one that's right place, right time. And that, it's a numbers game in the end, that you need to fill that funnel as quickly as you can, or with as many leads as you can, and have as effective of a marketing strategy as possible to that funnel. And so for him, he went to go look for those motivated sellers. He created this technology for himself, which he had a tech background before getting into real estate. So he had a little bit of skills to kind of program this himself. He made version 1 right here, which, I don't know if you remember when iPhone apps looked like this, but this was very much, it's changed a little bit since then. But David went out, made an app that you could add properties, just add addresses. So he would, drive around and look for those fixer-uppers. And then he would made an opportunity, or made an option to consistently market to them just using automation. So going in here, you can see like, hey, here's an address, and then, I mailed it 8 times, right? Every 21 days it's sending a postcard to them. Well, hey, you know what? He started to do this. He started to try to stay top of mind and try to put himself in front of these people over and over. So that way he can hopefully break through the noise and catch them right place, right time. And this started to work. He started to do these deals here where you've got 7132 Grandview, bought it for 44K, fixed it up, did the burst strategy for this, monthly rent, awesome cash flow, great equity built in. And here's what it looked like after he was done fixing it up. And then he did it again, another one set down the block, 7114 Grandview. Same thing, burst strategy here, cash out refinance, great monthly income. It's got the equity built right into it because he, forced that equity. And here's what that looks like now, 7114 Grandview in Indianapolis. And so he did this 9 times. He did this over and over again, built fantastic monthly income from this, built his own financial freedom from this, and realized, you know what, I think I'm solving a problem here that other people might have. And other people at, he would go to REIAs, or he'd go, network locally. They started to take notice too. They would start to reach out to David and say, what are you doing, man? Like, how are you landing these deals like this? Like, what are you doing that's different than everybody else? And so he created an outward facing version of Deal Machine, the first version here, to help solve this problem, not just for himself, but for all of his friends and all these people that are asking him, what do I do here? And so he built version 1. David, I forget, when did you find us? I feel like we were really early when you first.
I mean, it's probably been 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, this was 2017. So yeah.
Yeah, so let's see, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So it was probably, 18.
Yeah. So
I would say it's close to 6, 5.5 to 6 years I've been using Deal Machine at this point. So yeah. I wasn't the first, but I was definitely in the beginning.
Yeah,
sure.
I love it, man. And so like being able to come in there, David, he again built this for himself, built it for other people, and built this company around it where our mission is to give everyone the power of real estate investing. And we want to use technology to help them do that, to help them take the right actions over and over and over again to, again, today what we're going to talk about is how to find that list of people, so really motivated sellers, and then looking at our data, looking at what's worked over and over again, how to market to them, how to get in front of them in the most effective ways possible. And, we're really proud over here. We've, again, had people land over 10,000 deals doing this. Every single state. We're the highest rated, most reviewed app out there for investors to find off market deals. So really excited to kind of share this today, where it's pulled from people like Ryan Haywood right here, who he himself went through a 30-day challenge, longer than these 7 days, but, it was a challenge nonetheless. Day 17 is when he landed his first deal. And it really completely unlocked his thinking, understanding like, man, this is possible. Since then, he's done over 400 deals using Deal Machine. Him, his wife, he's built a small team now. It's pretty incredible to see what he's done in the just north of Kansas City. Cody here, he's another example who he was from Milwaukee, living in San Diego, realized like, hey, this is, I don't want to compete in this competitive market. Let me try to invest back in Milwaukee. And he was doing this virtually. And then he hired a driver to go do this with him and for him. And we'll talk about those strategies a little bit today too of, okay, how do you do this in markets you're not based in? How do you do this, with a team? We'll touch on some pro tips for that stuff as well. And then finally, Patrick here, he's the last one. He was somebody who completely changed his life situation where he went from sleeping in his truck to educating himself on YouTube, finding Deal Machine, finding real estate, and in 10 months did 14 deals and over 150K in wholesale fees and changed his life like that. So that's the kind of stuff that gets us excited. Like, that's why we do this. And we want to give you, again, over the next 7 days, exactly what all these people are doing, where we're going to have a live training today. Today we're going to be covering, that playbook, giving you the homework assignment, giving you, the step-by-step process of how to do this. And then on next Thursday, if you come with the homework finished, you're going to be able to qualify, if you take action over these 6 days, listen, again, we're going to be emailing out a lot of tips and things like that. So make sure to pay attention to your email from us. But if you come with all that finished with these action steps taken, you're going to qualify for our grand prize giveaway, which, again, if you complete the homework, if you're on live next Thursday, you can win over $1,800 worth of free value with this grand prize giveaway. So that's
which is sweet.
Yeah, so we love to be able to give away free stuff. We're able to give you, again, the playbook to get out there and do it. We'll give you a couple of different offers today of how to execute on it using Deal Machine for free if that's what you want to run with, and then wrap it all up with this grand prize, which the real prize is going and landing deals from this, right? But
absolutely,
this doesn't hurt. So,
oh my goodness. Yeah, absolutely. Matt, this is so amazing. I love it. I love the way you guys have this structured. I think it's phenomenal. I do want to circle back just really quickly on, some of the things that David had found when he had, was first starting out, right?
Yep.
I can't agree more with all of these things, right? So the first one I believe was on market.
Yes.
And, there are very few deals on the market. And I think I know why. There's lots of reasons, of course, but the main reason is when somebody goes and they hire a real estate agent, the agent isn't going to, pitch their services as, I'm pretty confident I can get you 40 to 50 cents on the dollar for your property. Like, they would never get hired ever, right? The agent's pitch is going to be like, well, the neighbor's house sold for $260. I think we should list yours for $270 and see what happens, right? We can always drop the price later, but their pitch doesn't ever include discounting the property. It's always trying to get them the most. Therefore, it's so counterproductive and counterintuitive to try to go on the market to look for deals. Now, can you find deals on the market? You can, but they're not going to be readily available. Over the last 5-6 years, my partner Mike and I have averaged about 100 purchases a year on average. And I would say 2 to 3%. So of 100, 2 to 3% would be 2 to 3 a year we're buying on the market. And then here's another kicker on that topic. We're not going on the market looking for these on-market houses. The 2 or 3 a year that we do buy that are on the market, usually the agent is getting sick and tired of their client saying we need to get this thing sold. And they call us and say, make us an offer, any offer, right? So it's not like we're ever looking on the market. The other 97 to 98 deals a year that we do on average out of 100 come from direct to seller marketing. So I cannot stress that first point enough. That was lesson number 1. What was lesson number 2 and lesson number 3? Remind me.
Here, I'll walk you through real quick. Yeah, first one was on market. Second one is that he was going through. Here you go. Failure number 2 was really having a bulk list, right?
Bulk list. And bulk list can be great by all means. Don't get Matt or I wrong. But the downside, and my 2 favorite bulk lists are vacant and absentee, right? That's typically going to be your low-hanging fruit. But you're also going to have the most people marketing to your vacants and your absentees, period. It's the low-hanging fruit. It's the highest level of motivation typically. You're going to have a lot of luck and a lot of success, I should say, with with those type of lists, but you're going to be competing against 20, 30, 40, 50 other people calling, texting, emailing, sending postcards to those particular type of people. I'm not saying don't do those marketing efforts. I'm just saying that it's not only is it going to be the most marketed to, it's going to have the most competition, right? When you're out driving for dollars, you are creating your own list that is specific to you. Now, could some of those properties be on the vacant list or the absentee list or the tax delinquent? Well, of course they could be, but are they all going to be on there? Absolutely not. You are building a list that is going to be specific to you, and you can't just go out and buy a driving for dollars list. You have to create it. That's the whole point. You can do it manually, physically, like I prefer, or you can do it virtually, right? But either way, that you list is going to be unique to you. And also, you can decide how picky do you want to be when you're adding properties. Do they need to look like they're falling down? Well, you're not going to find that many in a day's time. But if you're looking for properties that just, have some minor stuff, and this is kind of my approach, gutters hanging off, landscaping looks like it hasn't been touched in a year or two, could use new siding or new paint, boarded up window, whatever, right? You can add those on there, and then from there you can start marketing it. So the bulk list, 100% agree with that one. And then what was number 3?
Yeah, the bulk list really quickly as well too. We do have that option inside Deal Machine. We have a list builder as well, but the thing is, why we focus this challenge on the driving for dollars approach is exactly like Dave said, they're the highest quality leads bar none. You can land plenty of deals doing the list builder. You actually see the more advanced investors really pouring more heavily into that, because at that point you can it's going to take more leads, which means it's going to take more marketing dollars, more time, more outreach to those people.
Great point too. Yeah. And if you want to go pull 5,000 vacant houses, that's nothing wrong with that, guys. This is going to cost you a good chunk of time and a good chunk of money, right? But if you don't have a good chunk of time and a good chunk of money, go pull 3 or 4 or 500, or I'm saying go manually add, 100, 200, 300, whatever leads from your eyes, seeing these properties while you're out driving for dollars, and you're essentially going to have a lot better close ratio. Right? You might only need 100 or 200 driving for dollars leads to get a deal, whereas you might need 3 or 4 or 5,000 vacant leads that you're going to randomly call or text to get that same deal. So you're going to have a much higher conversion rate whenever you're not just pulling the list and you're making your own list. That's what driving for dollars is, guys, at the end of the day. It's making your own list and then marketing to it. How you want to market to it is up to you. And Matt has some great options for you. He mentioned it earlier. There's ways to automate the postcards or the letters that you're sending, and you can put these people on drips to where you can just set and forget, and it'll just keep marketing and keep mailing to these people. You can also use the app to skip trace to then get phone numbers to call or text, as well as email addresses to just send emails to. And one of my favorite ways to send emails is to just send a letter of intents. It's not necessarily like, hey, this is Dave, I'm trying to reach the owner. It's, hey, I want to buy your house, here's an offer. And it's like, whoa, this guy's really serious. I'm going to call him back and see what this is all about. He just sent me an offer, right?
There you go.
Things to think about.
So today we're going to really knock through that first part of how do you find these properties in the most efficient way possible. And then, like you said,
I'm probably getting ahead of myself.
No, that was perfect, man. I love it. Love the excitement.
But here, while you're on this last one, let me just finish this, because we touched on the first two. Number 3, guys, follow up. And this is one of the biggest mistakes that I see new investors making is they will call a seller one time, a seller that has a house that definitely needs some work. And that seller will say, yeah, I'm interested in selling. Maybe they're really motivated and they want to sell it right away. Or maybe they're not really motivated and they're like, yeah, I'm interested. Make me an offer. And they make an offer and that seller says, yeah, I'm not really interested in that offer. And then that's it. They move on. Huge mistake. If you've gotten somebody on the phone that owns a property, you need to be taking notes on that and adding that into your CRM or whatever CRM. You can even use Deal Machine to keep track of these things, right? But you need to make notes. And then you need to set up a follow-up day, a follow-up time. That follow-up can be anything. It can be a call. It can be a text. It can be an email. It could even be snail mailing them the offer that you already sent them 3 or 4 months ago, right? But you got to do something. And the average deal that we do, again, we average about 100 deals a year, give or take. The average deal that we do, it takes 4 to 6 months of following up with people to get them to agree to sell, right? Don't think that you're just going to be able to talk to somebody one time you know, and don't get me wrong, this is possible. You know, maybe 1 in 20 deals that come through our pipeline, we get them right away. We run an appointment, speed the lead, you get it, and you're done. But that's not the normal. That's not the you know, the average. The average is going to take some nurturing. It's going to take some follow up. So if you are dedicated to the follow up process, I don't see how you can't do deals. Truly, right? I wholeheartedly believe that. You know, you got to be consistent with those efforts, though. If you are just making one call and they say, no, you know, I don't like your offer, and then you move on, you are wasting tons of resources and tons of time too. The money is in the follow-up. In fact, my buddy Philip just said yesterday or the day before, the Ferrari is in the follow-up. And I love that saying because it's so true, right? That's where the money's in. It's in the follow-up. So all three of those points that you mentioned, Matt, you know, I'm sorry to dive deep on that topic here, but I don't think we're wasting time by any means. I just want to reiterate those things. Off market, super, super, super important. The driving for dollars list that you are going to create are going to be the most valuable list you can get your hands on because you're creating them, right? You physically see the distress. And then the ability to go follow up with those lists is basically a cocktail for success, right? I can't express that enough. So, Matt, thank you for giving me that time to just reiterate that because it is that important. Is that
I 100% agree. I mean, you have so much personal experience you can draw upon too. It's fantastic to hear you back up, you know, what our other members are saying as well. But I mean, and even David's story as well. But I think to begin with too, like I know you talked about like, hey, it's a numbers game. It's you know, the number of times you follow up, the number of leads that you're reaching out to, the number of conversations you're having. It makes it so it's not a if you'll land a deal, it's when are you gonna land that deal, because you're talking to enough people over and over again that hey, you're gonna get better at this, you're gonna continue to improve, you're gonna continue to hone your sales and negotiating skills to really understand, you know, hey, what are those great questions I can ask, how can I uncover those problems that I can solve for that seller. And again, like you said, you're doing the right method where you're going off market and you're giving yourself the best opportunity to find somebody who's an actually motivated seller willing to trade that great deal for you to solve their problem. So I think when we drive for dollars, that's kind of step one here that we're talking about today, is building that list of motivated sellers. It's looking for those signs of physical distress. It's looking for those signs that it's a rundown house where you've got, like you said, the tarp on the roof, gutters falling off, all the obvious stuff. I even also say, hey, we look for the less obvious stuff, something that just this shows you that, hey, for whatever reason, the appearance of this property is a little bit off. And one example that we always use as well is Josh, our first hire. He was practicing what we preach, using Deal Machine, and landed his first deal using Deal Machine by driving around. And he found a house that had it was Halloween decorations up, and it was like March. So
I was driving for dollars yesterday. I added 115 leads yesterday.
Yeah.
And I saw 2 houses. Guys, yesterday was June 29th. I saw 2 houses it was about 2 hours I was out. I think I added roughly 120 leads. I think it was like 117 or 118, call it 120 in 2 hours. So 60 leads an hour. It's a lead a minute, basically, right? There was 2 houses that had Christmas lights up. June 29th, Christmas lights up. Right? There's a reason that they haven't taken those lights down yet, right? It's probably not a good reason, but it's a reason. There's motivation there. Absolutely.
There you 100%. Go. So it's that type of stuff that, if you just, notice, hey, something for whatever reason they're not able to or not wanting to keep up with the appearance of this property, that's an indicator that, hey, time to reach out. So, what I talk about today, again, like you're finding the most motivated sellers in your market because they are dealing with some kind of issue like that. They're the least competitive sellers in your market because you went out and you found this list that no one else has. The other thing, and you'll see the homework reflecting this, the other thing I want to say, before I jump into kind of the specific demo here, is the magic number that we see is the number 100. And that doesn't mean that it only takes 100 leads to land a deal, which very much, we see plenty of people who do that. We've seen plenty of people who, one example I use, Quentin down in San Antonio, it's literally the 4th lead he called. We have it live on our YouTube channel. The 4th lead he called, he did a deal on the spot. It was wild. So it can happen. You can get lucky with right place, right time, call the seller, and hey, that was it right there. But
I think I've got 9,700 leads. Don't quote me, but I think last time I checked in my Deal Machine, and I've done about 100 deals on the Deal Machine. So that's pretty damn close to 1 in 100.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't mean that I just called them once, though. That's the kicker here. I'm mailing these people, month after month. I'm skip tracing, I'm calling, I'm texting. I'm going the extra mile to get these people on the phone, right? And you got to do that too. But I love the 100 being a good number, a good rule of thumb, because it doesn't have to be 1,200, right? 10, 6, 4 in this case, maybe that's a little aggressive, but get 100 people that you start marketing to and start talking to on a regular basis. It is not crazy to think that 1 or 2 or even 3 of those people are going to want to do business with you over a 4 to 6 month period. Not at all. So love it, man.
Those 100 leads too. No, absolutely. Those 100 leads too. When we look at the data to figure out like what is correlated to long-term success, like when are people going to stick with this and see the value in it? It's when they hit that 100 leads is that takes a little bit of startup work here. Like it takes a little bit of you getting out and building the system in place and really kind of getting used to the idea of driving around and looking for these houses. And, at that point, it starts to click where you see, hey, here's where this is going. And here's, things I'm picking up on. Here's how I get better at this. And, I'm starting to have conversations with sellers. I'm starting to see this snowball. I'm starting to build momentum. Like that number 100 really is a tipping point when we look at the data that people stick with this, go land their first deal and land many after that. So for people, if you can get over that 100 lead threshold and follow up with them, follow through with them, like what we talk about today, that is going to put you in a great bucket to potentially, to have that long-term success and not just do one deal, but continue to do deals. So that's really kind of our goal today is get there.
Let's do it, man. Let's jump in. So
awesome,
guys, everybody that's here today, I want to thank you for coming. The goal here is to help you get your first deal in the next 7 days. And that doesn't mean you're going to get paid by Thursday of next week. That just means that you're going to get the lead in the system that is going to turn into a deal in the next 7 days. Can you get that deal closed in the next 2 or 3 weeks? Yeah, it's very possible. Could it possibly take 4 to 6 months? Yeah, absolutely. Right? We're not here to tell you you're going to get paid Thursday of next week. That is crazy thinking. But can you go generate the leads in the next 7 days that can turn into a deal? 100 million% you can. 100 million%. If you guys go and you add 100 leads a day, for the next 6 days, that's 600 leads. There is no reason that you can't do 5 or 6 or 8 or 10 deals in the next 4 to 6 months from those leads. 100 leads is going to typically equate over a good amount of time. It's going to require marketing. It's going to require follow-up. 1 deal at a minimum. All right. So my goal over the next 6 days is to get out every single day for at least 1 to 2 hours. And when we circle back on Thursday, I want to see your guys' numbers, and I'm going to share with you my numbers. All right? And I am confident that I am going to have added a minimum of 600 leads in the next 6 days. Okay? So I challenge every single one of you to get out there and to do it. And if you add more leads than me, I gotta have a special treat for you. I'm not going to tell you what that is today, but on Thursday, if you have more leads than me, I'm going to have a special treat for you.
That's all.
I'm going hard. I'm going hard. Man. That's right. So I doubt there's going to be that many people that are going to be able to add more, but that's the whole purpose of the challenge. If you guys can add more leads than me, you're already way ahead of where you're at now because you're going to have a ton of leads to start working, right? But I want to challenge everybody to try to beat me. Let's go. Let's do it.
There we go. Get fired up.
That's right.
Nick said, how do we load up Deal Machine? So Nick, I actually just put that on the offers, and there we go. It says game on. Love it.
I'm ready. Let's do it.
I just put that up on Webinar Jam for you guys. There's the 7-day free trial. If you go through that link too, you're going to get $30 in free marketing to these sellers as well. So that's about 200 or so free skip traces, a little less. 50 or so free postcards. Again, we're going to cover that in this training section today too. But I just want to load that up for you guys so that way you can follow along inside the app if you're actually going to use it during this as well. So that's one option for you guys.
Click on the offer, or you guys can use dealmachinedave.com. And that link will essentially take you there. That link right there is awesome because not only do you guys get the 7-day free trial, but you also get $30 worth of deal credits included with the trial. And those deal credits can be used for skip tracing. They can be used for direct mail. So I always recommend, hey, get the free trial, set it up right away, and send yourself a postcard. Do it right away. That way you can actually get that postcard delivered to your house so you can see it and understand how this works in real time, ideally before the trial ends, so you guys can just rock and roll. Or just take those $30 for the deal credits. What does that equate to, Matt? 50 postcards, 60 postcards, something like that?
50 postcards and close to 200 skip traces.
And close to 200 skip traces. Amazing. That's awesome.
There we go.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So basically, I mean, what you're seeing on the screen right here is Inside Deal Machine. This is the desktop version, just, app.dealmachine.com. You've got the mobile app as well. So you can, anything you add here or there, they're going to instantly sync up. If you're out driving around, you're probably using the mobile app, right? And then, a lot of times when you add those leads, people will come back. If you have access to a desktop as well, we'll come back and look at the computer version as well and kind of use them in tandem. But just quick little demo here for you guys. When you're looking at the map right here, first of all, it's going to lock onto your location. So, if you allow it to do that, you've got a little blue dot, just like you would in GPS. As you're driving around, you'll be able to look around you, and all of these black dots around you, these are all just properties around you in real life. Hey, like you're driving around. If you see 5301 Neosho Street right here in South City in St. Louis right here, you click on that property, you see it in real life, click on it in the app, jump into that, and you can see more info about it. You can be able to come in and just quickly hit add lead. If it's, again, first and foremost, what you're looking for is it a rundown property? So look first for that, hit add lead, and move on to the next one. And when you make a lead, when you add it to your list, that means, okay, cool, now it's going to be easy to follow up with them, follow through with them, track that property from there. So that's our goal, is to look at all these little black dots around you, hit add lead. When you add them, it turns into a blue pin to show you that it's on your list, that it's, it's a lead within your system. A couple quick pro tips with this. You can use the just kind of like standard view that I've got here going on. It's the, easy to show off in demos, but we also have the satellite view if that's easier to kind of track the houses. And when you're driving around, you can kind of see the roofs right here. Like a lot of people really like that view when they're driving around. Makes it easier to kind of follow along when you're driving. You'll see these little green lines pop up around you. So this is all route tracking that's happening going on. So that's for every single Deal Machine plan. We've got starter, pro, and teams. You've got a little green tail that pops up behind you. So that way, as you're driving around, you know that you've driven, you never double back on a route. You take the most efficient ways possible. You look at the map and figure out where have you not driven and where have you driven, and kind of plan out your drive and make that easy to do. At 12 months, they turn yellow, and at a year, they turn red. So that way you can look at the map, and it's especially useful when you start doing deals. You can then look in that area and see, oh, it's all yellow over there, and I've done a deal or two. Like, that's a great area for me to be driving in. Let me redrive that, and, kind of help you do that to make sure you're always covering your, everywhere in your community and finding those hidden gems there. So that's all on the map right there. A couple other pro tips. I know the highlights button down here. This is something that is really, really powerful for people who have Deal Machine Pro and up, which is basically, the idea of overlaying the map with data that you can select that helps you figure out where to drive, what makes an A+ level lead. Like you said, David, you said absentee owned and vacant properties were two examples.
Absentee owned and vacant, that's going to be your low-hanging fruit. I just drove yesterday, like I said, for about 2 hours, added about 120 leads, and I had pre-foreclosures selected. And there was only one or two that I found in that two-hour period, but I stopped and called them right then and there. I didn't just add them to my list and treat them as if they were any other lead. I literally stopped my car, skip traced those leads in real time, and made calls. I didn't get I think it was two people. I didn't get either of them on the phone, but I left them voicemails, and I sent them a text message just saying, hey, I left you a voicemail. I'm looking to buy a few more properties in the area. I didn't mention that they were on the pre-foreclosure list. Guys, you don't want to do that, right? You just want to market to these people. Let them know that you are interested in buying the house. They may or may not be interested, but if you don't tell them that you have an option for them, they're never going to just randomly call you up and say, hey, will you buy my house? Like, that's what marketing is. It's letting people know they have the option of working with you in the event that they want that, right? So I'm hoping that one of these guys gives me a call back today or tomorrow, or I'll probably follow up with them again on Monday. But all 120 leads that I added yesterday are going to get a postcard in the next couple of days. And then they're going to most likely get another postcard 30 days later. And then they're most likely going to get another postcard 30 days later. We usually hit them a minimum of 3 times. And then beyond that, we pull the list down and skip trace it and call and text and email all these people as well. We need to hit them as many different ways as we possibly can.
There we go. Absolutely. So I 100% echo that. Like, I know from a marketing strategy standpoint, I'll show kind of the nitty gritties on doing that, but that is, right in line with what the most successful Deal Machine members are doing over and over again. I see a bunch of really good questions come in. We'll make sure to get to all those by the end for you guys.
Yeah, we'll get to all these questions, guys, for sure.
I will mention, Markeisha, if you email me, Matt at Deal Machine directly, I just put this in the chat here. I can help you out there. Let's see. And then Greg had asked, what is the domain again? Do you want to share that again, David? It was just dealmachinedave.com.
Yeah, Deal Machine Dave, or you can click, if you're using it on your phone, it might be easier to just use this link here. And actually, I should be able to make it like to where it's, hold on one sec, guys. Actually, if I just add in the HTTP.
Yeah, there you go.
/www. I think that maybe makes it clickable. There you go. Deal Machine Dave is clickable. Use that link right there. Not only are you going to get that free trial, but you're going to get free deal credits to use in the app for skip tracing or direct mail. Absolutely.
There we go. So what I was showing off here as well, the highlights button, this top left corner. Again, if you're on Deal Machine Pro and up, you click on that highlights, and you'd said, vacant being an example. We've got a bunch of different just quick list options that you can
tons of them.
That's, again, foreclosure statuses, absentee owners right here, expired listings. We have MLS data for every single state on here. So, regardless of if you're in Texas or a non-disclosure state, what have you, we've got sold data here still, inside Deal Machine for the MLS right there for you too. We've got like hot neighborhoods, tired landlords, pre-probate. So all kinds of stuff, senior owner, all kinds of cool, quick list highlights. Or you can create your own highlight where you can pull from thousands of data points from us, including tax and mortgage information, sale price and date, MLS information again, property information on, size and bed, bath and that kind of stuff, owner type. So that's your absentee owned or vacant or all kind, lien information, just thousands of data points right here. That if you have a very specific buy box of like, hey, yeah, I'm looking for, this price point, 2 bed, 1 bath, or, what have you, you can really get specific in here. But just the awesome thing about this highlights button, you can click that, start to say, hey, just show me vacant properties around me. I don't know if there are many in this area. We've got one right there.
Oh, there's one right there.
There you go.
See how it highlights it with a different color? Makes it real easy to see.
Mm-hmm. So that is an awesome way to, again, use data to inform you in addition to the condition of the property. First and foremost, you're looking for rundown houses, but then if it's rundown and also fits all your criteria, hey, that means it's a really, really high priority lead. Make sure you reach out to those people first. And it's a great way to look at areas of town where I can say, hey, just show me areas that have old properties in them, that were built, that click in here and say, your build date is, before, we'll call it 1980. And, that way we're looking for older houses, and you'll see an entire neighborhood light up right here where these are all older houses. Hey, they might have a chance at higher equity. They might have a chance of, needing fixing up. Like, this could be a really good area for me to drive around. So, using
different things to do. Tons.
Yeah. It kind of scores the lead for you and also helps you pick what area to drive around in. So, I'd say,
and really
that's
the best thing
one
to do is just to play with it, right? Like, there's no right or wrong way to put in different data points. It may depend on your buy box, like Matt mentioned, or there may be certain things that you're really looking for. Like, I know a lot of investors, they really like pre-foreclosures. I know a lot of investors that really like tax delinquents. I know a lot of investors that, go hard after probates or divorces. All of these can be great options, right? And you can, filter these in, and you can kind of see these on the map. Depending on the criteria, of course. But there's tons and tons of options here, which is amazing. So awesome. Yeah. All right, Matt, we need to leave some time for the Q&A. But what are today's to-dos for these folks that are here today, right? Yep. What are the next steps for them?
Yeah, so driving around like that's your first goal, is adding those 100 leads, getting to that 100 list, just simple as that. You have this button right here is a start driving virtual drive for dollars option, so that's an option. But however you're getting it done, however you're adding those leads, go make that happen. In addition to that, how to take action on those leads, like you said, Dave, right here, this leads tab right here is where all of your leads are adding up. So you had how many thousand leads did you say you had in here?
I think I have 90. I think I have 9,700.
That's awesome. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Killer. So you've got that right here. All your leads are going to start adding up right there. You know, the way to take action on those leads, again,
9,262. I just looked. 9,262.
92. That's pretty good. That's pretty good, man.
Yeah, almost 10,000. You know, I mean, again, I've probably done 100 deals from the Deal Machine app and driving for dollars as a marketing method, right? So
there you go.
You know, I would say the action steps, guys, are get the free trial and start using it. If you've already used your free trial, then just sign up. Who cares, right? You need to be using this app if you want to start doing deals, all right? Unless you have virtual assistants that are going to be willing to call and text a bunch of people all day long, and you're willing to go pull lists and skip trace those lists, this is the best approach. It doesn't require all these extra costs and all these extra people and all these extra things, right? You can do this all from your hand. So step number one is go sign up, either with a trial or just sign up. Doesn't matter, right? Step number two is start using it. If you're going to be doing it virtual, then log in on your computer and start virtually driving for dollars. Or my personal favorite approach is to get your butt in the car, put your favorite record on or your favorite album on, right? You can even sometimes be talking on the phone to your buddy or your friend or your spouse or whoever. It's a great opportunity to catch up with old college friends you haven't talked to in 3 or 4 years. That's what I typically do. I put on Sublime or Revolution or Bob Marley, some of my favorite music, and I'm driving around. I might even have a speakerphone call with somebody I haven't talked to in 6 or 8 or 10 months or 2 or 3 years. But while I'm doing these activities, I'm looking out the window and I'm finding properties, and I have the app pulled up and I'm putting these properties in the map as I drive. The tap to add mode is one of the settings that you can use. I love tap to add mode. As you're driving, you just tap one time on the roof of the house, boom, it adds it to the app. So step one, get the software, start using it. Step two will be to start using it, right? Virtually or in person, period. Step three, okay? Once you're starting to build your list, market to them. Okay, Matt, what is the best practices?
So marketing
to the list.
I love how you said you could start off right away by doing a one-to-one outreach, like a call, text on the spot. You know, go and get their number and get in touch with them. Absolutely, like the most successful investors that are using Deal Machine, the most Deal Machine members that are landing deals like this, they're doing that right off the bat. So they're doing what we call a short-term marketing, which is one-to-one marketing, reaching out to people through that skip trace button, which, you know, I can show that really quickly here. It's very simple. Anytime you add a lead, you click on that lead and you'll see, right here, skip trace. And when you click that button, that's going to come up with phone numbers, email addresses. You know, you've got 5 phone numbers right here that give you mobile, you know, is it mobile or landline? What's the caller ID? Is it on the do not call list? You know, just gives you
it's all there. The data's all right there. They're doing all the hard, heavy lifting for you guys. All you got to do is get your butt in the car or find your comfortable seat in your house if you're doing it virtually. Drive around, use that skip trace button to get the data, and then actually pick up the phone, call them, text them, shoot them an email, right? It's not rocket science. If you're not calling them, then they have to call you. I don't know any other way around it. Even if you send them a text or an email, it's going to lead to a phone call, right? Marketing typically leads to phone calls, right? So the postcards can be a great approach to getting them to call you. But if you're not willing to send postcards, maybe you don't have the budget, that's fine, no problem. I love sending postcards. But if you don't have the budget, not the end of the world. You can skip trace these people and you can be the one connecting them by calling or texting or emailing with them. But again, the goal is to get them on the phone, make a friend, and ideally set up an appointment. It's simple.
And that step one is that skip trace and reaching out, just like you said, Dave. The other step is they are combining that short-term one-to-one outreach with long-term automated outreach that you talked about right there, the postcard, where you hit that start mail button and it's going to give you a variety. You get 9 or 10 default templates you can choose from. The Ryan Haywood guy that we talked about that's landed 400 plus deals using Deal Machine, he's using those default templates just like that. So you can come in here and you can change what template, you can change what you're sending them, the size of the postcard. You can
change the template, you can change the size, you can change the sequence. You know, you don't want to be mailing them a postcard 3 times a week. That's a little aggressive, right? But you know, every 21 days, every 30 days, even every 45 days is going to be a better approach than not doing anything. I mean, I think that kind of goes without saying, but I know that there's somebody here that needs to hear that. Doing something is better than doing nothing, period. I mean, I cannot stress that enough, right? And you don't need tens of thousands of leads in here. You know, like I got, what did I say? 92. Let me give you the exact number. I have 9,262 leads. That's over like what, 5.5, 6 years? All right. Don't expect to go get 9,000 leads in 2 days, guys. It's not going to happen like that. Set a goal to just try to add 20 or 30 or 40 leads a day, right? My goal by next Thursday, when we do our wrap-up call for this challenge, is to have 600 added. That's aggressive. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get there. That's the goal, though. So what's your goal? Drop it in the chat. I'd love to see it, what your goal is.
There we go.
Right? I know for sure I'm going to have at least 200 or 300 by then. But if I can get to 500 or 600, even better. It's more opportunity to do even more deals, right? So, Matt, we're going to be doing a second call for this challenge. It's Thursday, 3 p.m. of this next upcoming week. But for everybody that is here today, I plan on going live at least once, if not twice, before then. Probably on Monday and Tuesday, or maybe Monday and Wednesday, something like that, of this next week in Real Estate School. So I'll make a post in there about, you know, when I plan to do it. I'll drop a link in there, and it'll be live. And you guys can come watch me do it. If you are really looking for that extra push, you don't need to come watch me do it, but you'll probably learn some stuff, and it's going to be fun because we always have fun. But I plan on doing that at least once or twice over the next couple of days to prove to you that I'm doing it, show you how I'm doing it, and ideally teach you and motivate you guys to start doing it. This is not hard, all right? It is not, but you got to put the work in. You got to get the app, you got to start using it. You know, virtual is fine. I prefer in person. Get out there, start adding leads. I love it.
There we go.
Okay.
And that's what the homework is for the grand prize right here too. Yeah. Hey, we're telling you only at 100 to qualify, but like Dave said, we're making a competition within it. Yeah, blow way past that. Blow way past that. Like the 100 is
601, Nick says.
601. Boom. Beat him out.
I love it.
So the goal here, again, you got to build 100 list leads. You got to reach out to all of them in some way. So whether it be call, text, email, ideally you're doing a combo of multiple. When you put in multiple different methods, you're giving yourself an exponential
multiple more opportunities.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's
but Matt, this is a really good point. I want to highlight this. Just because you went and drove around and added 100 leads in the system doesn't mean that you've done anything to reach these people. Building a list is half of this. Marketing to the list is the other half. And I'm glad that I'm actually taking a second to dive into this because, again, I think there's probably somebody here that needs this full picture, right? Building the list is fun and easy. Let's be honest. It's fun and easy, but it's only half of it, right? Once you build the list, you then need to go in and you need to trigger mail to these people so they can call you and they can know that you're willing to buy the house and you can help them. Or I should correct that. Or I prefer or, right? You need to skip trace these people and shoot them a call or a text or an email. And when you call them, leave them a voicemail. Say, hey, this is Dave well, you're not going to say this because this is what I say, but you're going to tailor it very similar. What do I say? I say, hey, this is Dave. I'm calling from House Sold Easy. I'm looking to buy a few more properties in the neighborhood. I just drove by yours and it looks like it could be a great opportunity. If you have interest in selling, I would love to talk with you. Call me back. Here's my number. Or send me an email. I mean, that's it. Don't overthink it. Just do something. Right? Very, very important. But yes, let's make 100 the minimum, guys. Not the goal. That's the minimum. All right? You guys have all seen Office Space. You know what happens whenever you wear the minimum amount of flair. You don't get anywhere, right? That's the minimum. 300, 400, 500. That's what I want to see out of you guys next week, Thursday.
Love to see that. So that the actual ability or the process to turn in the homework, that's going to be over email. So again, make sure to pay attention to your email. I'm going to email you instructions to send me a screenshot of the 100 leads that you did. I'm going to ask for you to talk about how you're reaching out to them and your strategy with that and explain that. So to enter for that grand prize, again, that grand prize is going to be worth over $1,800. It's to complete the homework here. And you got to be live on the next Thursday training to win this thing. So if we call your name, you're not live. That's tough.
A member of this. I'm coming I'm coming for it, guys.
Right?
You got to put in that work if you want to win this grand prize because you're competing with me. Let's go. Let's go.
Awesome. Love it, man. The two download really two quick bonuses. I know we talked about Deal Machine Dave, so that's one. That's if you're going to do the free trial. I saw a few people reach out to me about it. I'm happy to hook you up. My email is just matt@dealmachine.com throughout this whole thing. So consider me a resource.
Matt's a great resource, guys. Definitely, you know, if you have questions or, you know, need some extra help, reach out to Matt. I know that, they also have an amazing customer support team if you have any problems. It's rare that I have any problems. Here's something that I was thinking about, though, on yesterday. Yesterday was Thursday when I was driving for dollars. And again, I think this is kind of common sense, but there's probably somebody here that is going to have this problem or this issue. Before you are, assuming you are using Driving for Dollars mobily in person, you're in your car and you have the app, kill all your other apps, turn off your Wi-Fi. All right. The reason is if Matt and I cannot control your device. We can't control if it's new, if it's got good cell service. These are things that are out of our control. The app works great if you dedicate time to using it and your phone isn't trying to run 62 other apps, right? So if you notice that it's not working, it's probably not the app, it's probably your phone. So what I always do whenever I'm getting ready to start driving for dollars, I kill all the other apps and I might even restart my phone so it is running quick and clean. I can't speak. Quick and clean, and it's going to work super, super well, right? So in the event that you do see a glitch or whatever, I promise you 9 times out of 10, kill all the other apps, maybe even restart the phone, and it will work. It'll work perfectly. So just keep that in mind.
It's a good tip for any app, but yeah.
Absolutely. For any app, really.
Yeah.
But specifically this one, because it does use a lot of data in terms of, constantly zeroing in on your GPS. That's the whole way. That's what makes it so awesome, right? Not necessarily a lot of data, but it's kind of a, let's put it this way. If you got 10 other apps going, it might glitch a little on you. So just don't let that happen. Get rid of all the other apps. Get rid of all the other stuff. You can play music. You can do a phone call. That's not going to be a big deal. But if you're trying to use 37 other apps, you're going to have a glitch, guys. And again, that's not us. That's not Deal Machine. That's the problem. It's your local device. So again, I'm not trying to get too deep into the weeds here. Just kill all the other apps, maybe even do a restart, and it's going to work so smooth. I didn't have a single glitch when I was out for 2 hours yesterday. Added about 120 leads, and I didn't even really want to stop, but I had to go meet a buyer at my apartment, so I had to. Nice. But sometimes I get into the groove. I'm listening to my music. I'm on the phone. I'm having fun. 2, 3, 4 hours will go by. Easy. And then I get home and I'm like, holy cow, I added up 150 leads or 200 leads. This is great. And then you can start marketing to those. So cool. All right. Well, guys, I got a couple more minutes. I do want to respect Matt's time.
Yeah.
But let's move into the question. Yeah. You guys know what you need to do. Go download the app. Start using the app. Add a minimum of 100 leads between now and Thursday. All right. If you add more than me, there's going to be a special gift and a special prize for you guys on Thursday. Again, my goal, 500 to 600. That's what I'm going to try to get added by Thursday. We will be back Thursday to review and to give away that grand prize. And again, between now and then, I'll go live, once or twice inside of Real Estate School. And you guys are welcome to come join live. Watch me drive for dollars. I'll either have my partner Mike with me or my assistant Holly, and we'll go add 50 to 100 leads in 30 to 45 minutes pretty easily. And we'll maybe even do it 2 or even 3 times, but a minimum of 1 or 2, no problem.
There we go.
Did I miss anything, Matt? Let's jump into these questions.
Yeah. The only thing I even had on my end, I know we have this special bonus. If anyone is going through this and they're like, man, I want to do this for more than just a couple months, like I'm going to fully commit to this and really invest in my long-term success, we do have a 45% off a year deal here too. So it's just dealmachine.com/Dodge. And I can throw this up in the offers as well here for you guys too. But this is something where you would get Deal Machine Pro for the entire year. You would get List Builder for the entire year, which again is the list pulling option in addition to Driving for Dollars. And then you get all those free marketing credits. So normally that would be over $1,800 worth of stuff. That's going to be $990. So that's something too that I just want to put up there. If you guys are like, yeah, I'm going to do this for an extended period of time, don't pay for it every month. If you're up for doing it for a full year, then this is going to get you almost half off. So just want to make sure that you guys have that option too for you. But
roughly 50% off. I'm going to drop the link here, which is amazing. There you go. You got those too. I dropped the link. You guys can also use your phones right here, right now Just take a screenshot of the QR code. I love it. Okay, very cool.
Nice.
Matt, thank you for dropping that as well. That's
Cool.
that's a big savings. I love it. Okay,
Yeah.
here's what I'm gonna do, guys. I'm gonna scroll down to the bottom of the chat, and I'm gonna work my way up. Robert said something about Fannie Mae, talking about 1 year refi cash out. And Robert, send me a message in school. We can address that. It doesn't really apply to adding leads in Deal Machine and marketing. So again, I'm not discounting your question. I just want to focus on the topic at hand here. Okay. Terry says there are properties everywhere around here that are vacant and distressed. Absolutely. There's properties everywhere in every city, even in nice, expensive places in New York and San Francisco and San Diego and, you know, whatever. There's going to be vacant, distressed properties everywhere. They're all over the place. You just got to get out there, not only find them, again, that's half of it, market to them. Okay, let them know that you're interested in buying those. So again, I agree, Terry. I love it.
Really quick, Dave. If you go, there's like the chat, and then there's a Q&A section. That's where I've been trying to funnel the questions over to that Q&A section.
Oh, I see both. Okay, let me get to the chat, and then we'll go to the Q&A. I got a few.
Okay.
Okay, good. So Nick says, I feel big on the follow-up. No more, Nick. You know better now, man. That's where the money's at. That's where the Ferrari's at. It's in that follow-up. Nick's is a good guy. He's a friend, so I'm giving him a little trouble here, but it's all out of good fun and whatnot. So Markeisha says, we get the sellers. How do we go about finding the buyers? That's so easy. The buyers is the easiest part of this business. Markeisha, not only can you pull lists of buyers in Deal Machine and skip trace them and call them and text them, but if you find a deal and you go and you post it in your local REIA, local Facebook investing groups, deals sell themselves, like literally. Deals sell themselves. So finding a buyer for a deal is the least of my worries, right? It's really easy. There are hundreds of investors in every city, right, that are looking for a deal. So if you bring them a deal, finding the buyer is the easiest part. I don't even want to say the difficult part or the hard part. The challenging part, let's go with that, is finding the seller. And that's where adding 100 leads comes in. So the more leads you add, the more likelihood you're going to have the opportunity to go run appointments and make offers and get the deals. So don't worry about the buyers, right? Buyers are everywhere. Every local Facebook group that's designed around real estate or investing or rentals or flipping or just real estate in general is filled with them. Okay. So again, don't overthink that. Nick says, Markeisha, the money comes when you have a good deal. Agreed, 100%. You don't need to necessarily go line up a bunch of buyers. You can if you want, but I would say don't waste time because, you know, people that are focusing on building a buyer's list and getting their website done and getting the logo correct and, you know, having the business cards looking perfect. You know, these are things that may be useful, but guess what they're not doing when they're focusing on that? It's pretty obvious. They're not building lists of sellers and marketing to them, right? Does it having a website, you know, is that a necessary thing? No. Is it going to maybe help your business? Yeah. But is it the first thing I would tell somebody to do? No. Is building a buyer's list the first thing you need to do? No, not at all. It's like number 17 on my list. The first thing you need to do is start building a list and marketing, period. Okay, I love it. Robert says, Florida Keys has less than 100,000 people. That doesn't matter. I'm doing deals in towns that have 5,000 people. So that means that you have 100,000 opportunities to go buy some properties there.
I will say, really quick, Robert had also asked about virtual driving for dollars. That's something that, you know, I know they update the pictures. Most major markets, the pictures updated every 1 to 2 years. When you're on virtual driving for dollars, you'll actually see the picture in the bottom corner. It'll tell you when that photo was taken.
Like the date,
house.
Photo date? Yeah.
Within Deal Machine, actually, it'll tell you right there.
Awesome.
And then you can just compare that picture to the last sale date. So even if it's like a 3, 4, 5, 6-year-old picture and the house is super run down, you can look. And if that sale date is still, you know, 10, 15 years ago, whoever owned it when that photo was taken still owns it. It could still be a really good lead regardless of when the photo was taken.
Totally. Yeah, and I see a couple more questions here about, I got fat fingers too, guys. I'm just reading your guys' question, your stuff here. Yeah, don't worry about the buyers. I cannot stress that enough. If you find a deal and you marketed it in local Facebook groups and to your local REIA, you will find a buyer. If it's a great deal, you'll find 25 buyers. If it's a marginal deal, you'll find 3 to 5 buyers. If it's not a good deal, you might not find any buyers. But that's also something that we can all use to learn what is a good deal. And really, it's pretty simple. The better the price, the better the deal, right? But don't worry about that. That is not step number 1. It's not even step number 2 or 3 or 4. It's 17, right? Get the app, add leads, start marketing. Those are your first 3 steps all day, every day. Okay. And again, I love it because I got fat fingers too here. How do we load Deal Machine up? Go to the offers in this section or click the link above in the chat. Get the free trial if you haven't already. If you have already used your free trial, then just sign up, guys. This is the best investment you can make. Literally, I don't know of any other tool that's roughly $100 a month that has this much value, okay? Nathan says, I figured DocuSign is the best way to send contracts to sellers or buyers. You know, it's a great way, Nathan. I'm not arguing by any means, but even texting somebody a verbal offer, you know, is a good place to start. You know, DocuSign obviously is a great tool to get a signature, right? But sometimes, you know, a signature might be needed to go meet them in person to get it. You know, DocuSign, right signature, HelloSign's probably your cheapest route. Some of the CRMs nowadays, like Resimply and REIA Blackbook, have eSign built in. So anything, though, I mean, even sending somebody a PDF and asking them to print it off and sign it is better than not doing anything. So is DocuSign the best solution? I mean, it could be for you. It's one of many, right? Just keep that in mind. But don't get hung up on these little things, okay? Roland says, I couldn't wait for it. I already signed up. Amazing. I love it. Greg says, what's the domain? We've added it in here. Markeisha says, I've already had an account, so can I still get a free trial? You know, maybe.
I messaged Markeisha, so I can.
Okay, perfect. You know, otherwise, just use a different email address to get another free trial, guys. I mean, come on. Just get the app. Use it. Start using it. That's the main thing, okay? Matt's got his email in here, Matt at Deal Machine. Deal Machine Dave's a great link to go, you know, get those credits on top of it, or you scan these barcodes right here to this side of the screen here. Now these are more so for, well, you got both in there. You got the left barcode is a 7-day free trial, plus the $30 in free credits. And the right barcode is if you want to just go ahead and sign up for a whole year, you get 45% off. Amazing. That's basically half. Okay, let's see here. I think that might be, how does this compare to FreedomSoft? Don't know, never used FreedomSoft. Couldn't tell you.
I would say there's a couple questions in here that around like FreedomSoft, PropWire, a couple other, you know, real estate tech options out there, which there are a lot of real estate softwares out there in general. What makes this unique in overall? I mean, there's a million kind of little one-off features I can speak about. I mean, we're known as best in class for driving for dollars, especially like if you believe in that driving for dollars approach of driving around and finding fixer-upper properties because they're way less competitive and they're the most motivated people because they have a house that's, you know, has distress. We're known for owning that niche. Like that's really, you know, our bread and butter. Our mobile app is head and shoulders above others too because of that. Because when you're driving around, you got to have a great mobile experience to do that. I think our support team,
you guys got the highest rated app with the most reviews. Look at
that's the biggest thing.
Are there other
the bottom line?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, is there more than one grocery store in your town? I would hope so, right? But Deal Machine's the best, but hands down, it's the best. It's the easiest to use. It's got the most users and the best ratings, and that's the end of the story. I mean, really, I use it. I love it. I would recommend it. It's amazing. All right.
Okay, it is for iPhone and Android, Nick, to answer your question there. So,
I think we've basically gotten through most of the chat. Let's look at the Q&A here. If I hire an acquisitions manager to get deals, how much should I offer to pay? That depends. You can pay them hourly, or you can pay them daily, or you can pay them per deal. I don't want to tell you how to run your business, Greg. I think this is from Greg. So it just depends on what makes the most sense for you. If you're in a rural town, you might be able to find somebody to be able to do this $5, $6, $7 an hour. If you're in the middle of San Francisco, you might have to pay 15, 20, 25 an hour. It depends, right? But typically what I've seen people do is pay anywhere from, 50 cents to $1 a lead that's added, plus a bonus in the back end, or they just pay them hourly and they essentially just have them log in and log out and they track their time and they go from there. One of the things that I would, and again, it's going to depend. It varies market to market, your business, all these things are going to be variables. But one of the things that I could say and recommend to anybody that's going to hire a driver is if you want to keep them, regardless if you're going to pay them per lead or per hour, incentivize them. So what does that mean? If you get a deal that from their efforts and you make $10,000, give them a $500 bonus, right? Give them 5 or 10% of the net profit on the deal, because that is going to start giving them incentive to stick around versus just do this for 2 weeks and be like, I don't really see the value here, and then they're going to leave, right? So if I want to keep somebody and have success with it, it doesn't matter if they're, an employee or a virtual assistant or even just a joint venture partner. I want to incentivize anybody and everybody at all times, because that is really where they're going to, be able to really make a bunch of money, right? The hourly or the per lead, that just depends on how hard they work, right? But if they're only willing to go work 5 hours a week, and 3 weeks later you got a deal and you maybe paid them $500-$600 for their time, but then you got another $500, another $1,000 bonus coming, they are going to be motivated to get their butt out there and do more of that. So my advice, it doesn't matter how you pay them, just don't forget, add that incentive on the back end. And being able to track it is easy, because you can create different members in the app and you can see who added the lead, and it's time stamped. It's a no-brainer. I love it. Roland, how often is contact info updated? How recent are house images updated? Well, contact info is going to be updated probably daily, but it's going to vary because they're pulling multiple sources. So daily,
every single morning,
hourly, every morning. There you go. How often are the house images updated? That's going to depend, again, on a couple things, right? If you're in a big metropolitan area, more often than if you're out in the middle of nowhere. Because who's updating these photos? It's Google, typically. They got cars driving around. But I can tell you this, over the last 2 years, the amount of vehicles that I've seen out on the street compared to the previous 3 or 4 has quadrupled. So what usually may take 1 or 2 years, sometimes might take 3 months. It's going to depend. But the more you use it, the more you can become familiar with your area. All the more reason to get it and start using it. All right, last question, because I do want to respect Matt's time here today. Andrea says, how many conversations should you have each day? More. That's the answer. More. The more you have, the more success you're going to have, right? Now, I didn't answer your question. I'm joking around. I'm being funny here, but that's really my answer. But let's give you a solid, concrete answer. All right. My goal within my business is to send 5 written offers a day, which means that I might need to talk to 2 or 3 or 4 people in order to send 1 written offer. So if I need to send 5 written offers a day, we're trying to typically talk to 20 to 30 people minimum a day on the phone. Okay. If we can do 40 or 50 people a day, even better. Okay. Now that's me, my business partner, 1 or 2 acquisitions folks, including my VAs as well. So, in your case, maybe try to make a goal of trying to send 1 or 2 written offers every day, which might mean you need to talk to 5 or 10 people or, whatever, somewhere in that range. But again, more is always the best answer. The more people you talk to, the more opportunity you're going to have to make friends and set appointments, which ultimately leads you to being able to make an offer to those people, right? And if you can get the offer accepted, go market the deal. Like Markeisha was asking earlier, put the deal in the local Facebook group or the local REIA group. If it's a good deal, you're going to have 20 people wanting to buy that from you. If it's not a great deal, maybe not. Then you can go back to your seller. And if you don't get it under contract, you can do the same thing. You can go back to the seller every couple of weeks and you can follow up. So it's that simple, guys. I love it. Matt, thank you.
Great questions.
For your time. Happy deal finding, folks. Keep an eye on SKOOL. I will post in the next probably over the weekend on when I plan on doing at least 1 or 2. I'm going to shoot for 2 live driving for dollar sessions. I'll probably end up doing it on Monday or Tuesday, and then again on Wednesday. So it's going to be one of those days. And you guys are welcome to come and watch live. And I'll do it on YouTube or Vimeo, and I'll drop the link there so you guys can see me doing it. And again, 100 is the minimum, guys. We can all get 100 leads. I can do 100 in an hour typically. So if you guys can't add 100 leads by Thursday, I don't know what else I can do to help you.
Hey, we're going to send out this replay too. We're going to send out this replay.
And I'm confident you can do it.
Yeah.
So it's that simple. I love it. All right, everybody. Have a
guys.
safe and blessed weekend. Happy 4th of July to everybody. Matt, thank you for your time.
You too, guys.
Thanks for being here. The fact that you're offering all these bonuses is amazing. These discounts is amazing. A 45% deal for an entire year is amazing. And then $1,800, I think, roughly, in bonuses to the winner is massive.
Can't wait, man.
And
Guys, get out there. Have a great holiday.
I'm not going to compete. I said I was. I'm joking. I am going to compete,
You're pushing them, though.
But I'm not going to let myself win. It's going to go to one.
You're not winning the prize. No.
I'm not winning the prize.
No.
Right? One of you guys will, though. Definitely. So cool, guys. Thanks for being here. We'll post this replay in school here in the half an hour, whenever we can get some time to get it up there. But again, have a great weekend. Thanks for being here. I challenge every one of you to get the app, start using it. There is no reason, literally, that you can't get the lead for your next deal in the next 7 days. In fact, if I can add 500 or 600 properties, that means I'm going to have 5 or 6 deals in my pipeline in the next 6 days, 6 to 7 days, in the pipeline. So that's basically where it starts. Get the app, start using it, get those leads, and then what we're going to start doing is we're going to start marketing to those leads. And that's what we're going to really talk about, in detail on Thursday. So with that being said, have a great weekend. Thanks, guys.
See you guys Thursday. Thanks.
Signing off.